Welcome to the latest supply partner webinar for us here at BRG, and thank you especially for our friends in Melbourne. So our friends including Catherine, Michael, Paul, Lucy, and all of the other folks that are joining us from Melbourne. Nice to see some friendly faces, and I hope it's all going well down there. The purpose of today's session, we're going to talk about some trends, some emerging trends, and emerging products that we're kind of road testing for our organisation, based on some learnings that we've had in the people and culture world. We'll be talking today to Toni Westlake, who's the new brand manager for Adrenaline. Toni joins us from Bisley Workwear, and before then she was at Sea Folly. Welcome on board. Welcome to the team. We'll also be talking to Maddi Robbins, who's our Director of People and Culture and Communications. Maddi will be talking about the business need that we identified and the unique situation that we've got as an organisation, where we don't have a workplace, everybody's working from home, and we've seen a bit of a disconnect in terms of communications and connections. We're not the only ones. And from a supply partner perspective, we'll be talking to Melinda from Cork and Canvas, who's very kindly joining us today. Melinda has hosted various BRG teams, or one BRG team, but more to come. And more to come, where we've been doing an experience at work with Cork and Canvas, which has been excellent fun. I've done one myself. And we'll be talking from a supply perspective, what changes, tweaks and observations that you've learned and been through as a supply partner, just tweaking your offering so it fits perfectly with what we're doing. So I think first of all I'll hand over to Maddi, who's going to talk about the why, about why we ended up in a space where we saw a market gap, and what learnings, what problems we saw that required a solution and how we address those. So Maddi, over to you.
Awesome. I think we'll go a little bit higher first of all before we kind of go into what we did, I suppose, and how this fits in as well. So I think most of your business owners out there, like, the world of work is totally different for us now. I think, you know, most people don't have an office, or if they do have an office, there's a whole new world of, you know, obligations for us to play in. And I think part of our response to that was to really recognise that we have a much higher level of responsibility as an employer. So people expect much more from us. They want us to, yes, provide a great workplace and grow them and have career plans and great leaders, but now they expect us to look after their mental health and their well-being, and, you know, help them to address the need for connection, where most people, and obviously, you know, still in Victoria, people are at home. So it's brought this whole new landscape, I think, that we have to play in as employers, and all of us are dealing with that, I think, irrespective of the size of your business. So when I talk to my peers at Salesforce or Atlassian, which are significantly big global organisations, we all have the same problem, which is how do we make sure that our teams connect, because the connection is what builds the successful business. And I think it would be easy for us to say that we bought experiences just to get our team out to experience them, but actually this is about running a very successful business. So there's two things that always play on my mind when we think about it, which is the need for weak ties and close ties. So in a business, your close ties are the people that you work with on a day-to-day basis. You know them, you kind of operate with them, you have a laugh with them. The weak ties are the people who are in your adjacent teams, but those people that you might have bumped into in the kitchen, you know, this kind of water cooler chat that people talk about. You actually need both to run a really successful business, because the relationship enables productivity, the productivity enables the performance. And I think ultimately we all want high performing businesses and engaged workforces. So it's a very different landscape that we're in right now. And for us, one of the things we did was, obviously we were impacted really heavily by COVID, and we made the decision quite bravely to let go of our office, which was a big pillar of our culture and something that was a concern to me. And the team said, yes, we're fine to let go of the office, but what they want is connection. And so that kind of led us to a place to go, well, how do we bring them connection? And we went right back to our purpose, which is, if you think about the way people experience life, how do we bring them together? And so we kind of joined our dots and said, we need to meet all of those needs. That's the problem that we're dealing with right now. And so I purchased 300 experiences, and we piloted this scheme of which we now call Experiences at Work. And we did it for 3 months, and now we've invested in it for the next 12. So 267 experiences we've done so far in the past 2.5 months across. Yes, I was there at the paint and sit class. I did go kayaking, which we'll talk a little bit about, rock climbing, sabre fencing, cooking classes, experiences at home, online, in person. We've kind of done a little bit of everything, and the response has been really phenomenal from our team in terms of bringing them together and creating that sense of community, I suppose. But the other piece for us was, you know, my job is to make sure that our people agenda is as adaptive and innovative as our business agenda. So it allows us to kind of go, well, let's try out these corporate experiences, and does this open up a new audience for us, and how does it work, and how do they need to kind of be operated? So that was the pilot behind Experiences at Work. I suppose the biggest one we've got is still to come, which is at the end of our first quarter of the year. We've got a BRG sailing regatta. So we've currently got about 7 boats that will be out racing on the harbour with all of our teams coming together. So look, it really is just the beginning for us. And I think that ability also to invest back into our supply community. So we purchased these experiences, you know, we bought them to invest the money back into that community and the Australian economy at the same time. So I think that has really resulted in a high level of engagement from our team as well.
Yep. And one thing you said to me the other week, Maddi, is that it's not all unicorns and rainbows.
No, it's not. I wish it was.
Which I think is a bit of a departure from what our supply partners might be used to in terms of, you know, we might be looking at a drive day, but it's a drive day for 20. Everyone gets together and it's, you know, hoo-ha, fantastic. It's not just about having a good time. It's not necessarily just a team building activity, that there are hard outcomes. And I think that's really important for our supply community to understand in their own marketing that there's actually a business outcome to this, and it's not just about people having a great time, which is a byproduct, but
it's not even a byproduct. For me, it's a direct outcome. Like that is part of the reason that I made the decision to invest in it, was that I want to run a successful business. You know, we always talk about purpose and profit and never a trade-off. Like you have to hold a healthy tension, which is I invest in you and I'm going to do these things, but there's a commercial outcome. Like we want to run successful businesses as well.
Yep. Okay, cool. Now, Toni, who joins us in a post-workplace environment, the office tour, the awkward office tour is a thing of the past. You know, you're paraded through, here's our call centre, you know, and all of the names, you forget everything and it's horrible. Now, you had an entirely different onboarding experience. Did you want to, just whilst I'm here, there's a Q&A section at the end. So if you did want to ask any questions, click on the button down below and you can ask a question and we'll come to those at the end. So, but Toni, you had a very different onboarding experience. Did you want to take us through what that was like?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
How that worked for you?
Although you do say I didn't get the awkward office tour, but I did get an HQ post where everyone got a little bio on me that I didn't know I was actually giving them. So I have, you know, people have insights on me that they didn't necessarily need to have. But yeah, it was really fantastic. I had a really positive experience onboarding at BRG, which hasn't necessarily been the case for some other people I know who've onboarded during this time, because I guess Maddi and her team and also my team were really conscious that it was a digital onboarding process. So, you know, I had a LinkedIn intro, I had an EDM sent out to the supply team, and intros to the team via Teams, where I got to actually know what they do rather than just, this is their name, this is their title, you'll forget it in a second. So that was really exciting. And then in my second week, I got to go on one of the experiences at work that Maddi was talking about, which we went yoga and kayaking down at the Spit, which was so much fun. So I got to really start to build those weak ties that Maddi was talking about with people outside of my team, but also start to build the stronger ties with people who were in my team. Like we got to go out to lunch afterwards as well and start to talk about all the embarrassing things that happened, like, you know, me not being able to balance on a foot and Meg not being able to do something with her arms that apparently is very normal So we've got all those stories and those ties that we can take into building relationships, so it makes work easier. And it makes asking questions easier because you feel like the people in your team who you can actually go to, who will know that information outside of their specific job description.
Yeah, I think it's those weak ties, those kind of just sort of tapping someone on the shoulder outside of the water cooler. That's what's missing, and you've got to create space for that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where experiences can really kind of help. What other things have you got coming up?
So I have some very exciting ones coming up that have definitely filled out my calendar, so I'm very excited. I've got a skywalk with my team where I'm going to see them all get together for the first time. I'm going on an aerobatics flight with Alex from Supply with the RedBalloon guys, which I'm so excited about. Although they did tell me not to have breakfast just in case it does come back up if I have a weak stomach. So
just in case you're watching RedBalloon, it's a challenge. Okay, so.
Just saying. And then we've also got the sailing regatta, which I'm very excited about because my competitive spirit is going to come out. And I'm glad that comes out the first time when I meet the whole company for the first time. So it's been great.
Very good. Very good. And Melinda, we'll come to your experience now. I think what we really want to kind of get to is an understanding about how you've adapted your very much in-person experience, which is Cork and Canvas. You paint a picture, you drink wine, you have a great time. It's very much in person, and how you've adapted that to number one for us for VRG. I had the pleasure of doing this experience, and I brought along a bit of a painting. This is our CFO, Kevin, and his brain is a pie chart, and he talks money. I may not have a job. So it was, for me, it was incredibly enjoyable and a valuable opportunity to spend some time with Kevin, with whom I don't usually work on a daily basis, not one of my strong ties. It was great to kind of have some real face time for him. But yeah, over to you, and please talk us through how you made your experience work for this new environment.
Absolutely. Well, first, it was great having you all in the studio. It was lots of fun seeing you sharing your paintings at the end, and getting a chance to bond and tie together with people you don't normally get to learn a lot about. So that was a wonderful experience. With COVID happening in March, obviously all of our studios got shut down. We weren't really prepared for it like most people, but I do have a very strong team of great people that I work with, and we sat back and thought about what was really important to us, to the company, and to our guests that have been coming to us for years. And obviously safety was the utmost of importance, how we can comply with every part of the rules and regulations to make things safe for when people could come back into studios, but also how we could provide that same service to people when they need it now more than ever. Being in stage 4 lockdown isn't fun for anybody. And you need that creative outlet. You need to kind of turn off the right side of your brain that's overthinking and turn on the left side of the brain and be creative and express yourself. So we wanted to provide something that would enable people to still enjoy our service, but in a safe way at home or when the studios open back up. So we created our online sessions with the help of Big Red Group, and allowed us to get Australia-wide. So now we have people ordering creativity kits and corporates coming in for up to 100, 120 people online. And we're sending kits out all the way to New Zealand for people to join in and get together with their coworkers and share their experiences and talk of, how they're going and see each other and make this artwork and share it at the end, which has been fantastic. So we took the time to pivot the business to the needs of our customers and the corporates that need this bond and connection so much right now. So it's been really interesting.
Okay, and how have you seen that your corporate clients' needs are changing in terms of, are they willing to get together more or less, or has it been the same, or how's that affected your product offering?
Well, it's actually a little bit of a mix. Since we've opened back up in Sydney in June 1st, we get some of our corporates that they want to get their teams together, they want to get there in the studio, and knowing that we're COVID safe and we provide a safe environment, and that we're abiding by all the rules, they are more than happy to get their teams in there and just give them that time to relax and unwind and create a memory and a masterpiece. But then we have the other half of our clients where they just can't do it. They have too much at risk. If all the people that are together and something happens to one of them, it could be very detrimental to the company. So we've provided them with a service where their kits are delivered to their door. They're still getting to see each other. They're still getting the painting experience. And we even had one of our clients say, but we love Cork and Canvas. We've been several times. We don't want to make our staff have to go out and get wine or cheese or nibbles. Can you put that in the box?
Great. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not sure how we put wine and cheese in a box, but we did. We figured it out for our corporate clients, and we've gone out and actually purchased gift cards on their behalf where they can order, each one of their staff can order a bottle of wine and cheese and nibbles to be delivered right to their door in a safe way. And they can set up all their art materials and have the same exact experience they would in a studio, but in a safe environment.
I think it makes such a difference, that ability to offer the choice. So the session that we did, we had Naomi dialed in.
That was amazing.
In the room.
So a very special guest.
That was amazing.
So I think that ability to adapt is so reflective of the time right now. And also, a lot of our team, some of them don't want to come together. Like they have, this journey is very personal to people. So as an employer, to be able to say, you can come, but you don't have to.
That's right.
You can share the experience, because it's not actually about being in the room, it's about sharing the experience together. I think that's a really beautiful thing for us to offer as well.
And I think that's a really important observation. We had in our own session where I painted that, we had a mix of in-person sort of attendees, and then we had one or just one who couldn't make it, and because they're stuck interstates and they can't travel. And so we had them attend virtually. So I think that's a really interesting kind of hybrid model.
Yeah, it was
where
brilliant.
it's a bit of both. And having how hard has it been to adjust the experience but maintain the quality? Because obviously the reviews that we get for the experience are amazing pre online. And how have you managed to maintain that? Because they still are good.
I think just always sticking to our core beliefs of creating that unique experience, making people feel good, making people feel happy, and then really good customer service. I believe in really good customer service. It was a strong part of my background and upbringing from my corporate background. Allowing these people to enjoy what they used to enjoy in a different way. It's gone seamlessly. I mean, we've sent out over 2,400 kits Australia-wide. I feel like we're, touching on Amazon, like this is a little taste of what Amazon does, but we're sending out so many kits. And then to see people text us or Facebook message us or email us photos, how we saved their 30th birthday, or my favorite story was a wife in Melbourne. It was her husband's 50th birthday. And it was her and her 3 kids stuck at home. And they had elderly parents in Perth. They had 2 sisters in the Gold Coast, and the rest of their family was in America. And she was going to bring them into the studio when it got canceled. She was very upset and said, now what am I going to do? We're all stuck in the house. And I said, why not still do it? And we actually facilitated for her a surprise birthday party for her husband. He had no idea. And we connected the parents in Perth, the sisters in the Gold Coast, and 4 different states across America, where they turned on the computer and surprised the whole family was there, and they all painted together. And we got to share in those experiences, seeing them, saying hi and happy birthday and holding up their paintings at the end. It was incredible.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
That need for connection, I think, has just come to the surface during this time. We had a discussion before this around how it's allowed us to see the world in a different light.
Absolutely.
But, I think it's funny, isn't it? We're more connected but less close than we've ever been. And I think that connection is so important right now. The world's a lonely place is what people say, even though we probably talk more and more. And I definitely spend most of my day on video calls. I see people and I look at them in their eyes more than I ever have done. But yet we seem to feel disconnected. And I just think there's this opportunity for us, or even just as a category, to kind of go, I mean, I don't know how much people know about sustainability development goals, but number 11 is around loneliness, and that's what some of our sustainability work is around. But that story about sharing the experience, like people remember those moments, like it makes them feel connected. Me too. And I just think, you know, as a category, like we actually have a bit of an opportunity there as well to kind of pull together. Yeah,
and I think there's a big step, as I mentioned before, corporate experiences have often been, you know, cork and canvas for 20, and it's not that. It's not that. This is a different product category. It's an emerging category that is about increasing connection, and the cork and canvas is so, you know, sort of well suited. It's socially distanced, number one. Maddi, did you want to talk to the kind of after arranging 300 of these, you know, what sort of learnings have you taken away as you've kind of adjusted and changed course towards what we think is the perfect experience now?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I don't take credit for that. I think, you know, thanks to our supply partners and my team as well, who coordinated most of this. I think 3 things really stand out, which is the small experience. So we generally aim for between 6 and 10 people, and that seems to create a sense of safety. Any more than that, we found was a little bit overbearing for people. I think making it unique, so it feels a bit more special. So a bespoke, something a little bit different, I think is really nice. And even if that's, you know, some people in the room and some people online, making that happen as well is really important. And I think the other thing for us is allowing time for the experience as well as just talking or laughing or having a drink afterwards or lunch, like allowing that to happen. So giving a bit more time for the group. They're the 3 things that I think have really stood out to us. And that's, I mean, our team have told us too that that's what they're looking for. Yeah, that's right. So a bit of dwell time during the experience. On the cork and canvas, it was great. We all kind of had a 20-minute gap at the beginning just to have a bit of a natter, because I hadn't seen this person in ages and so on. So I think that kind of dwell time built in is really good. And the social distancing was fantastically managed. We were all sort of spread around the studio, and it was really well done. Have we got any questions popping up on the screen there? There's a couple of questions come up. There's Jared. Looking forward to flying with Toni and Alex. Toast for a brekkie is recommended. So have something, have a light breakfast, but avoid the oranges. And cheers for the artistic feedback, Jared. So there's a message for Melinda here. A lot of suppliers aren't sure on what the best technology to use and to deliver at-home experiences. What do you recommend and we use?
Well, we're using a fantastic website called TransDirect. They've been extremely helpful. They give you options of, you know, different couriers that can get it there the fastest or, you know, at the most affordable rate, based on what your own needs are, which was really important to us. You know, we have some corporate clients that are like, we need something this week. Like, we need to do an event Friday, you have to help us, and it's Tuesday afternoon. So that I would definitely recommend having something like that if you're needing to get stuff out and about to people.
Is that better and more reliable than like Australia Post or?
Yeah, a lot more, unfortunately. And one of my best friends works for Australia Post. But yeah, I mean, with Australia Post, unfortunately, I don't think they were ready for COVID and the demand of everybody shopping online at home and people ordering now more than ever. I think even people are just bored ordering stuff to be delivered and they can't keep up. Whereas with TransDirect, we get the choice of using, say, you know, Courier Please or Fastway, and they'll say 1 business day, guaranteed 2 business days.
Amazing.
And you can pick which one's going to suit you and what your needs are. So it's been really reliable. And after 2,400 packages, we might only have 20 that got there a day or 2 late. And that's pretty impressive for sending out that many packages, whereas I don't know if it would have been the same if we went any other way.
And when you're running the sessions, like online, what technology have you tried or used and found is best?
Well, we've used quite a few. We use Zoom, but a lot of our corporate clients, we have a lot of big law firms and stuff that we do, and other corporates that they did not want to use Zoom. They found it too new, unsafe. So we've used Microsoft Teams and a few other platforms. But generally, we've used Zoom for the majority of them, and we've We've had no issues. It's been a great platform to use
Yeah.
to run the sessions. Our artists have all now learned a new trade, and they're getting to work. One of our wonderful artists in Melbourne, Harshi, who unfortunately she's finishing, I think, her master's degree and didn't meet the whole job seeker. She fell in between the cracks. Allowing to do something like this has kept her working consistently, teaching online on Zoom. All these classes, and a few of our other artists have got to do it as well, and they actually really enjoy it now. They love it. They love getting to interact with people and bring them a bit of joy in their home, and see, you know, the kids run into the picture and showing off their drawings in the background. And
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, so Zoom's been really good, but you know, Microsoft Teams and a few others work as well.
I guess you've got to be a bit sort of agnostic and just swing whichever way the client wants you to go.
100%.
Be quite flexible.
Well, we don't like to say no, hence why we did an
course.
event for 150 people.
Exactly.
You know, when someone calls up and says, can you do an event for 150 people?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then when we hang up, we go, no, we need to figure this out.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you don't say no. And if that's what's going to make, you know, our corporate clients, you know, more comfortable, it's good. It's going to be better for their business. It's going to make them feel safe. Then by all means, whatever they need, you know, whatever we need to do to get the job done, that's what we'll do.
Okay. Leslie has asked, I'm interested in how you package the marketing materials to suit corporates. We've previously focused on schools and inbound, so the marketing is different. It is. Look, I think it's a much more tailored approach versus schools, which is that, you know, my product times 20 with a discount for a school group. Here's how we handle safety and all the rest of it. And the inbound tends to be sort of margin-driven discounts to secure the group. Whereas corporates, I think, of interest to us has been the customization and knowing that it's perfectly right. So in terms of having marketing materials, I think you've got to be super flexible. Would that be kind of?
I think yes and no. I think would be my opinion on it. If it's right or wrong, you have a different one. From an employer perspective, I think about if we're thinking about what we're selling, then what's the product and what's the outcome. So for me, yes, the words I hear a lot are team bonding and team building. Like that's the kind of thing. But actually, I think most corporates, like if you're selling to us or to an HR team or a sales leader, they're like, tell me what the outcome is. So you're going to 100%. Have a more connected team that gives me performance, that delivers my commercial outcome. Like actually, like if I think about what you're marketing to, it's that. I think tell them not just about the experience, but what the benefit is to their business.
100%. Like, you know, it's not all unicorns and rainbows. You know, that is that, you know, there's a hard commercial outcome here. And I guess you've got to sell that. You know, here's what you're buying. You're not going upselling, you're actually, this is what you're buying. You're buying a more connected workplace, and use those buzzwords that appeal to the clients.
Absolutely.
You know,
It's what it's for really, and what the benefit is. I think you have to navigate both, which is what's the benefit to the person, and therefore what's the benefit to your business. You have to deliver to both of those.
I think one of the main things that I've learned is it's listening. It's listening to what, you know, I tell my events team, it's listen to what they want. Don't just, I know we have a great product. I know everybody just calls up and it sells out quick, but actually listen to what their needs are. Because some people might surprise you and they need something totally different for their corporate team to come out of it. And some people care more about the actual outcome than just, like having the fun in the event. So if you listen to that, then you can really cater whatever type of business you're running and that package to suit that client.
It's that tailored experience, like that's where the real goal is.
That's right. And it's the tailored response as well. Like in terms of the marketing materials for inbound, you're kind of with a corporate client in this position, it is much more tailored. So the marketing materials are, call us, you know, just get in touch. Tell us what you want, I think is would that be fair to say? Because
definitely, I think it's easy to represent, you know, what the experience is and what it does. Team bonding, team building, like the same things come up. But I think asking the question is key. You know, why are you bringing your team together? What are you hoping to achieve from that, and how can the experience facilitate it?
And in terms of right at the very beginning, you said that all sizes of organisations, whether it's 10 people at one of our corporate clients or 50,000 at Salesforce, they've got the same problems. They've got the connection and the interpersonal, the links. So that's what you need to talk to. That's the problem that you need to adjust. The big overwhelming problem is the lack of connection in the post-workplace environment. So I hope that helps. verbose answer. Any other questions? Hello, Carolyn. Hello. Our experiences can't be delivered at home. There are many tourist attractions that can't deliver experiences to homes. That's right. So, and what we've kind of been talking about is a bit of a hybrid approach for Cork and Canvas, where as a team, I think 10 of us or so went to the Darlinghurst venue, and we were spread out around the venue, and then we had a person sort of dialing. So it's a bit of a hybrid experience. There are some experiences that are better delivered, that are more able to be delivered online. In terms of Janolan Caves, I would love to. I've never been, so sorry. I'll fix that as soon as I can.
I'm adding it to my bucket list.
Yeah,
as we speak.
that's right. That's
Let's
right.
do it online.
But an online walkthrough might be a fun way to.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sneak peek.
Could be a fun way. Or is there an opportunity to make, Plug Hole Cave? Do you turn left? Do you turn right? And turn it into an interactive experience for the workforce to kind of guide one of your guides through the tunnels, or.
And I think again, this bespoke, she mentioned there about corporate groups. So absolutely do the experience, but is there a way to, I don't know, if you use Zoom for that, you can use breakout rooms. Can you facilitate some, conversation with them that makes it more kind of corporate focused?
Yeah.
I think there's the opportunity to.
Yeah, that's right. I'll admit it's more of a challenge in some categories than others, and we've tried in all categories, from stunt flights, having live stream stunt flights, that, all the way through the various categories. Okay, I think that draws things to a natural conclusion. So just wanted to thank everyone for coming. Melinda, cheers.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And Maddi and Toni, cheers. Thank you. And
Thank you.
cheers for tuning in. And I hope this has been of some. I hope this has been of some use to you. And I look forward to seeing you at the next webinar. Keep an eye out on the supplier newsletter going out tomorrow. We'll have a link to watch this again. So thank you very much, everyone. Cheers.